Thanks for joining us this afternoon for our second show of the day for Indivisible with John Stubbins. I'm your host, John Stubbins. Welcome, America. As you know, the wall is being built. President Trump has got over 300 miles built, and every day keeps building a little bit more. In no time, it's going to be completed, and we've got to get him back in the White House for another 4 years to make sure that it's completed. You know that Biden and Harris will try to stop it. And there's no place better to talk about border issues than places like Arizona and Texas. And my guest this afternoon is an Arizona resident. He's a family man. His name is Josh Barnett, and he is running for Arizona U.S. House for Congress out of District 7. And I love this quote from Josh. It's people over politics, actions over words, results over rhetoric. I want to bring on to the show my guest this afternoon, Josh Barnett. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I apologize for not being in my office, my car office. I had to take my son to school, and I'm playing the dad role today here this afternoon.
You're a busy guy. I understand. Listen, when you have a family and you have a business and you're trying to balance it all plus run a campaign, that's no small task. And I understand that workload because this is my second show today. I'm working on Carter Page's documentary. We've got Reagan starting to shoot in Oklahoma next month. It's a busy time. Everything gearing up, leading up to the election. And what's most important is to make sure that we get constitutional conservatives elected into Congress. So, Josh, one of the things I noticed, your opponent, Ruben Gallego, is that how it's pronounced? Gallego?
I call him Gallego. Like, you got to go.
Gallego, Democrat. This guy, I'm going to tell you something. Here's a quote for you, America. This guy hates us. He says, and I quote, he says that he calls the conservative Trump base angry whites that support the Confederacy. Okay? Yeah. So we have black people, Latino people, Asian people, Italian people, all voting for Trump, all rooting for Trump. If you watched the RNC last week, you know that we have more diversity than the Democrats do. And this guy is talking about if you support Trump, he calls you, he calls me, he calls Josh, and everybody that supports Trump in America that we're angry white that support the Confederacy. Can you believe this guy?
He has a lot of nerve, and I haven't had him, say this to my face yet. We actually have a PBS reached out to me to do a debate between Ruben and I, and it's been about 2 weeks, and he still hasn't responded, because that's one thing I will be bringing up to him. And I got a lot of my black friends that are willing to show up as well and talk to him if he wants to let him know how white they are, apparently, So, yeah, this guy's a disaster for this district, for this state, and as a representative of our government in general. He's the same guys, that yelled "shut the up" to Thomas Massey from the gallery.
Oh my God.
This is the same guy. He's got. I won't get into it anymore, but this guy. He's not a good representation of Congressional District 7 here in Arizona.
Yeah, and there's a common thread. I had a show about an hour and a half ago. Chris Bish out of Sacramento, California, who's running against another corrupt Democrat by the name of Doris Matsui, who helped funnel money from China, dirty money, to the Clinton. Yeah. Okay, look, there's a running theme here that's common. None of these people want to respond to town halls or debates. They don't want to get out there and debate you, do they? They want to hide.
Yeah. Yeah, he's, he can hide all he wants, but his office, actually, I'm like 2 blocks away right now. I might go over there right now. Actually, I'm going to. Just for you, I'm going to go live on my Facebook, and I'm going to go to Ruben's office right now and ask him why he doesn't want to debate me.
That's
Just for
great.
fun.
That's great. That's great, Josh. Great.
Yeah.
Listen, I know that one of your big mantras, is corruption there. And I know that this guy, Galejo, is leading the charge for corruption from the Democratic perspective. This guy wants to erode our liberty. He wants to let illegals in over the border, have no border, have sanctuary cities across America. What's the deal with this guy?
He's a plosy puppet, and he truly is. We hear this all the time. He truly is. And, there's a lot of Democrats that don't like him right now. So, I have run into a lot of moderates out here that I've spoken with, and they're like, this party is not the party I signed up for. We hear that all over the country happening right now. And, I kind of just, I say let him keep talking. Let him keep, the more he talks, the better off we are. It's kind of like Biden. The more he speaks, the better off we are. And I feel the same way about him. And, the foot and mouth disease catches up. People have had enough, and they want common sense, and they want somebody that with decent values to go in there and do the right thing, and that's what I feel I am.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has no regard for the U.S. Constitution. It makes me wonder, how did he even get elected? It just blows my mind.
Well, he gets elected because the Republican Party has abandoned this district. We haven't had in the 2018, a Republican didn't even run.
I saw that.
Well, you had a Green Party guy I'd never heard of. He looked a little crazy. I don't know, at least the profile pic. He looked a little, peculiar. But then before that, we had, I believe it was Eve Nunez maybe, and that was like 3 elections ago. So, he hasn't had anybody really run against him, and definitely not on a consistent basis. And, when I saw that too, that was a major problem for me, because I feel the Republicans should be represented in every district to have an option for the people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're thrilled that you're running out there, Josh. By the way, how's your ground game with the virus and everything? Are you still knocking on doors?
I'm still knocking on doors because I always joke that, hey, I got a pocket full of hydroxychloroquine and some zinc. I'm good to go. But we're doing the best we can with that, because it is different this time around. It's the first time I've run, but everybody's been telling me it's not usually like this, obviously. But we're really ramping things up from Google ads, utilizing social media, working with a media company. We're going to be putting out a ton of stuff in a short period of time here. And and we're getting signs all over CD7 as well, kind of the traditional thing. And we're doing whatever we can. This up to October 7th in Arizona. That's when early mail-ins start. So we need to get it out there quick.
Absolutely. And by the way, at the bottom of your screen, if you guys can see it, I've got Josh's website, barnettforarizona.com. You can also connect with him on Twitter at Barnett for Arizona. I want to make sure that you guys get in contact. And what are you near Phoenix, Tucson? Where exactly are you?
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix. My district is literally downtown Phoenix, Glendale, around South Phoenix. So it's the heart. It's the heart of Arizona, and we want to take it back and turn it back red. And I want to let people know too, on 9/11, I have a fundraiser we're putting on. That's actually where I'm at now, checking out the event, the place for it. And if anybody's interested, DM me. We do have some RSVP, but we also have people that will be coming in and out throughout the time period we'll be here. If they're interested, DM me and I'll get information out to you. I'll have my people get it out to you.
Okay, so this is Phoenix area, Glendale.
Yeah.
Is that also Scottsdale?
It's just south of Scottsdale, yeah. Just south.
Okay.
And it's a gerrymandered district. It's an odd shape.
Okay. Everybody make sure that you go to barnettforarizona.com, and I don't care where you are in the United States, either contribute to Josh's campaign, help him get involved, help him make phone calls, doesn't matter where you are, just make sure that you get involved. And if you are in the Phoenix, Glendale, Scottsdale area, make sure that you're getting out there and maybe helping him knock on doors, make sure that his ground game is strong, so that we don't have to put up with this Democrat, this Galejo guy anymore. We're tired of him out there. I know that one of your big things, as far as near and dear to your heart, Josh, is, drugs, illegal weapons, child trafficking there at the border. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that? What's going on with the fight there? By the way, I just talked a couple days ago with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and I wanted to get a sense of what's going on the ground over there as far as the border and the action. And thank God for President Trump, because if we didn't have him, that thing would be a sieve right now.
Mm-hmm. It would be wide open, and if we don't win it back here, it's going to be wide open again. And Sheriff Joe, he's a great guy. I've spoken with him many times, and we're definitely on the same page as far as what we need to do at the border. The one thing with me, the drugs, the guns, that stuff is like secondary to me with that, because it's the human trafficking and the child sex trafficking in particular that's coming across us back and forth each way on that southern border, and we're a hub for that here. And that's one thing I've just been trying to bring as much awareness as possible. We just did a child sex trafficking march a few days ago with my buddy Adele, and we had a few thousand people turn out. So people are really waking up to what's going on. And, the problem is that we have legislation in Arizona, and even legislation that I can use federally, and it's not being used. And so it kind of makes you wonder why, but it always follow the money, and that's usually what ends up happening. No matter how bad it is, it's always follow the money. And I think when people do, I encourage them to research things on their own.
Yes.
And to call their legislators and say, hey, there's legislation here to be passed that can help this situation. Why is it not being passed? And demand that it gets passed.
Yes. Let me ask you this, Josh. Is Maricopa County, they haven't employed a no bail policy, have they?
Not that I'm aware of right now. Nothing like that. Thank goodness. We haven't gotten that crazy yet. Although we're definitely with Ruben's ex-wife, our mayor here in Arizona, Kate Gallego. She's definitely moving things to the radical left. She's a true fascist. I would say she's honestly, arguably even more fascist than him, which is hard to do. And we have a Democrat-led city council. The people here in Arizona are finally, I think, waking up, not just to who they're voting for presidentially, but as senators, as congressmen, as city council, the mayors of the cities here and the towns. They're waking up. School boards, people are paying attention, and we're not going to let kindergartners be taught oral sex in a kindergartner. It should never happen.
Yeah, and look, it's sick, it's evil. It goes against everything that God stands for. And everybody knows on this program, we put God first, okay? Yes. And there is no way that we're going to allow these twisted, sick individuals. I mean, it kills me. They want to let pedophiles out to roam our streets and infect our neighborhoods. And I don't understand this thinking. It's
good versus evil. It's good versus evil. Yeah.
It's almost like the Democrats said, we're going to do everything that we can to ruin our cities, ruin our towns. We're going to let criminals out, pedophiles, murderers, rapists, and we're just going to send them out into our neighborhoods across America to destroy America. That's virtually what they've done, Josh.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Not only that, they want to take your guns away on top of it. They want to defund the police, defund ICE, take your guns away, release criminals. What do you think's going to happen there? I got news for you. In Arizona, we're not giving up our guns ever. It's not going to happen. And I just bought 2 new ones recently myself, just because. So, it's not going to happen here, and it shouldn't happen anywhere. That's the thing. In California, I got a business in California that I'm with, and these guys feel like they're just being ransacked every which direction possible, from business to defunding the police to ICE with the border there in California. We own a business in Oceanside in North County, San Diego. So it's fairly close to the border, we're dealing with a lot of stuff there as well. So we have to bring sanity back to this country, and how to do that is a vote for, like you said, constitutional conservatives that are going to do the right thing for this country and put the politics to decide to do what's best for the people, and I really believe that.
Yes. It's about government intrusion into our families, into our churches, into our communities, our businesses, like you said. And we want to pursue the American dream, right? We want to pursue happiness. right? The pursuit of happiness. And it's interesting because, like I was talking about with Chris earlier, under our tent, if anybody that watched the RNC last week knows that our tent has everybody, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, it doesn't matter, Italian, anything. Our tent has become more diverse and more open to everybody. That includes homosexuals, you name it. Okay. It's the Democrats that are resisting, just like they did back in the days of slavery. They try to project onto Republicans. They were the party of the KKK. They were the party of Jim Crow. Obama kills me. Him and Biden will get up in front of the cameras and talk about how Republicans this, Republican that. No, it was their party that did that. Their party should be ashamed of themselves. They've been lying to their constituents for well over 50 years.
Yeah. And, then you had the 94 crime bill in there and some various other things as well, and look who filibustered the Civil Rights Act, the great Robert Byrd, right? Hillary's a good friend, there's so many examples of hypocrisy, and they are the party of projection. I say that all the time. And I really believe that the Republican Party now, people are waking up and seeing, like you said, how all-encompassing it is. No matter what you are, what color you are, it doesn't matter. We have a lot of great, and I think probably the most in history of black Republican congressional candidates running now. It's awesome to see, man, because these people are waking up, and they're seeing what's happening to their cities and their communities, and saying the Democrat policies have not worked for 30 years. What are we doing? Let's do something different. And that's a message that should be resounding in those areas. They should be, wow, we need to, hey, we got somebody from our town representing us, conservative values. Let's give her a shot or give him a shot. And I think you're going to see this House flip. There's no doubt in my mind it's going to flip. And there's no doubt we're going to keep the Senate and we're going to win a president. Then we can truly show these people what we can do without Paul Ryan in there ruining it for us. What we can do when we have Republican control over everything, and we do the right thing for America.
Yes. And, you're right. It's from Baltimore, Kimberly Klasick, all the way to L.A. with Errol Weber and Joe Collins, Asia Smith. Look, I have these people on my show. Look, we're rooting these people on, and they're our friends. They're our patriots. They are Black America that has had enough. They've had enough. Their constituents have had enough, and they're tired of being labeled. You heard what Biden said. You ain't black if you vote for Donald Trump. Well, that's racist. It's
unbelievably racist.
This is a guy, Joe Biden, his mentor was Robert Byrd, the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Okay? I rest my case. Right?
You're exactly right.
It's nonsense. And I'm tired of
you got Ruben Gallego, like you said, calling us all angry white people to support Trump. Ruben's a master race baiter. That's all he does is his platform on his website. One of them is literally anti-Trump. That's his platform. So, that shows you where this guy, he has no ideas. He has no solutions. He just hates Trump. And I'm sure Trump probably hates him, so it's fine. I guess it evens out. But, what we're going to do is we're going to get him out of office, and we're going to show him how government can really be run and run for the people. And I'm so big on that because I'm so sick and tired of seeing bigger and bigger government. And I want limited as possible government. I'm definitely a Ron Paulish type person with that. I want to see government out of our lives. I want to see God in our homes. And I want to see our kids in school of their choice learning.
That's right. The government belongs to the people. We the people, right? And, I want to just a couple things real quick because one of the quotes I love that you had, you cannot legislate away evil. That's another quote that you had. I love that quote, Josh. And, like you said in that quote, there's over 25,000 gun laws. And if you go into a city like Chicago where gun laws are really strict, and then you turn on the TV every weekend, okay, well, it's illegal guns. Criminals don't register their guns.
Yeah.
The Democrats don't want to talk about that, though. You know?
Yeah, criminals don't follow the law, period. That's why they're criminals. And the arguments are that the Democrats make, they're so weak and so just factless on everything they do and say. And but the irony is that you have Lightfoot, you got Whitmer, you got these people, Lightfoot in particular. I think Blaze TV was out there, and the Chicago PD is out front of her house protecting her. But she doesn't want anybody else protected by it because she wants to defund the police, right? But not for her. So the Democrats always do as I say, not as I do. I'm tired of it. I know a lot of people are tired of it, and we need to fix the problem, and that is to vote these people out of office.
Yeah, they're hypocrites, Josh.
Yes, 100%.
I know that defending life is important to you just like it is to me. These Democrats, you saw with Project Veritas, how they caught them talking about, infanticide and, killing babies after they were out of the womb, after 9 months. One of the other things involved heavily on my heart, and everybody knows this, through our men's ministry, the First Hour for Men, is parental rights and the fatherless issue. Like in the Black community, as you know, the fatherless rate is 74%. That's 3 out of every 4 homes in the Black community has no father.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
In the white community, it's almost half, not quite half. It's like high 30%. 40% like with the Hispanic community. But if you go back to the 50s and 60s, all those percentages were under 3% for blacks, whites, Hispanics. So we have a crisis in America with fathers not being in the home. And then when you turn on the TV and see these idiots burning stuff down, murdering people, looting stores, no regard, no respect. They won't stand for our flag. It's no wonder. Where are all the fathers?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And my good friend Chris, we were just talking about this yesterday, and it always comes back to, we always come back to exactly what you're talking about. Where are these families? Where are these dinner table talks, we used to have when we were younger, to learn how to act, to learn how to be a good citizen of our country, and it's not there anymore. And especially in the Black community you bring up, it's literally flipped. I think it was like 20%. Now it's 80%. Like you're talking, it literally flipped the opposite. And it's a huge issue. It's a huge problem, particularly in my district here in Arizona. It's a huge problem. And people can argue prison reform and certain things, that people talk about. And, I'm definitely open to the idea, the concept of certain things with that. But it comes down to, what's right and wrong, and it's not being taught. And that has to do with the people have to understand the personal responsibility and accountability to teach their own and take care of their own, and that whole ideology of Planned Parenthood and making people feel like it's okay just to throw a baby away because it's an inconvenience. That whole ideology, that concept of thinking, that way of thinking, has taken that culture in America here and has just tainted it and ruined it. And then Hollywood just exacerbates the whole thing. And you see this just infiltrate every aspect of America with this mindset of godlessness.
Yes.
And it's all this combined that I see causing this problem.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you look at this and you say, okay, why don't you teach your kids that if they're stopped by police, to not resist arrest, to not fight with the police. Okay?
Yeah.
My parents raised me probably just like your parents raised you. If you get pulled over by the police, you cooperate. You're going to go home that night to your family. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's so hard for Democrats not to teach their constituents that you don't fight with police officers. You don't resist arrest. You don't pull weapons on police. You don't throw urine and bricks and all this nonsense. It's absurd.
It is. And like I said, my friend Chris, he's black, and he teaches his kids and his son to always over comply. Swallow your pride and over comply. Your hands on the wheel. We overdo everything because of the situation now, especially. Everyone's scared from both sides, right? When a cop walks up to you, they don't know who you are. They don't know anything about you. And if the worst thing that can happen is if you comply properly and do the right thing. If they're wrong, take their butts to court and do something about it. I fully support that. But I don't want you dying trying to be a tough guy or trying to be, get smart with them and whatever else. And I understand if somebody feels they're being harassed or it's a constant thing that it can be very, hard to go after them. You know what I mean? Hard to say stuff to them.
Sure.
But nobody needs to die. You need to respect the police. Have some respect. You can fight them in court. And then you can actually have you can get their job taken away. You can have stuff happen in court, So
That's right.
Just go that direction. And I don't want to see another person die, another person get shot, and all the stuff that's happened. Like the guy, they have warrants. They have warrants out. There's different stuff. The stories, they never come out like they're supposed to initially. And then you find out more details, and you're like, well, they really weren't so wrong, or this guy was wrong, So we have to really wait. That's why I haven't really spoken too much on it, because I'm waiting for all the facts to come out before I make a decision on something. And
That's right.
More stuff is coming out. And it could be against, it could be for the defendant or for Blake, or it could be for the police. I don't know, but I'm going to wait until the facts come out.
Yeah.
That's the problem with our media.
That's
Our media is the problem.
And the thing about it is, if I get stopped by the police, I've got to swallow my pride. Okay?
Yeah.
If you get stopped by the police, you've got to swallow your pride. If you didn't do anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter. The Democrats are trying to use identity politics to make this a black hate white people issue, okay? And the truth is, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Italian, it doesn't matter. We all have to swallow our pride if you get pulled over by the police. Nobody likes getting detained or pulled over by the police. But you're absolutely right. Even if you get arrested, you're still going home that night. You're not dead. And you can fight it in court. You can get a lawyer. You can expose someone who's corrupt if they're a corrupt police officer. But you have no chance if you're dead.
Yeah. Well, what's even worse is that we had Tim Scott put into Justice Act. And it was a pretty good piece of legislation, at least a great start to something that could reform the police, which I feel needs to happen. And I feel the police need to pay attention to their own as well. They need to police themselves a little bit and know who the bad apples are and get them out. Because there are some bad cops, but there's way more good cops, as we know. Way more. It's definitely one-sided. But they need to get the bad ones out, because the bad ones make it really bad for the good ones.
That's
so
right.
I would like the police to, kind of look in the mirror a little bit and say, what can we do now? But, Tim Scott had great legislation, and what Nancy and Chuck Schumer do, they didn't even look at it.
Yeah.
They Republicans to get a win. It can help fix a problem. They don't want a problem fixed, much like the border, because it's a talking point to continue lying to their constituents. Look at the Republicans. They don't like black people. Look at the Republicans. They want to throw all the Hispanics in jail and keep the kids in cages and all this nonsense.
Yeah.
And they just want to keep perpetuating these lies. And when we get in there and take this back, we can end all that, because we can get these things fixed with actual legislation. And there's nothing to take that talking point away from them. And that's what I want to do. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah. And, the Democrats, they called Tim Scott a token black. Okay. When he brought forth that legislation. Tim Scott's a great guy. He's a black American who happens to be in Congress. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. He is a great American. He's a patriot. And if you watched the RNC last week, that there are plenty of black Americans that are patriots that happen to be Republicans, that are conservatives. Yep. And the Democrats have been lying to their constituents to keep this race baiting alive. Because if you take away the race card from the Democrats, they have nothing. Zilch.
Yep. You're exactly
Zero.
right. You're exactly right. And that's what we're doing slowly but surely. Hopefully we get some of these men and women that are running. They win their in November 3rd here, and they win, and they get in there. And like I said, we can show them that we are truly the party of open arms. We really are. We're about ideas. It doesn't matter what color you are, or if you're male, female, or transgender. I don't care what you are. It doesn't matter. If you believe in conservatism and common sense, and you love America, then you're welcome with us. You believe in God, you're welcome with us. And that's what we're about. When the Democrats left out under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, I was infuriated. I was at home yelling at the TV. I was so mad when I saw that. And then I was like, how can anyone vote for this party anymore? Yeah. I mean, the moderate Democrats out, the JFK Democrats, how can you vote Democrat today? How is it even possible? When what they stand for, they're leaving under God out purposely. I don't know how you can vote that direction anymore.
Well, not only that, going back to the 2012 DNC, the Democratic National Convention in 2012, they banned God from their charter.
Yeah.
They banned God. I knew right then and there is no way that I would ever vote Democrat. When you ban God, the discussion with me is over.
Well, you got Nancy Pelosi, who, and I'm a Catholic, so it really irritates me. And when I see her acting like she's this wonderful Catholic, she believes in late-term abortion. She believes in she voted for infanticide. Like they not only did they vote for it, they were celebrating it, clapping, buildings up for it. It made me sick to my stomach. And then to see them do that, and then to take God out of everywhere they possibly can. Nancy, you're not, as far as I'm concerned, you're not a Catholic. You're evil. That's satanic stuff that's going on. And for her to keep talking about her Catholicism, it just really irks me to the core when I hear that. And I wish the Catholic Church would actually come out and condemn her for it, to be honest with you.
Well, same thing with Joe Biden. Biden and Kamala Harris. They try to invoke God, but yet they support infanticide.
It's unbelievable.
It doesn't gel. You can't do both. You can't. It's impossible.
It's unbelievable. So, these people, they run reckless, and we're allowing it to happen. And I blame us. I blame us in a way, I blame us Republicans for not getting off their butts and voting. Because, for example, here in Arizona, we had 200,000 Republicans sit at home and not vote 2018. And now they're all complaining. You have nothing to complain about. Because if we get out and vote, we're keeping the state red, and we're going to expand our control here in the state house, the state senate. We're going to expand that. The governor can't, he's not due up till 2022, but he's termed out, so Ducey will be termed out, and I know who the Democrats are going to try to push for that role. I already know who it is. I'm not going to say his name. I won't give him any recognition, but I know who they're trying to push, and he's going to have a lot of money behind him. But if we get out and vote here in Arizona, we will not allow that to happen. But people got to quit being lazy, for crying out loud, and vote in person. I tell people all the time, get your butt up and vote in person. Unless you're an absentee ballot, I still would show up in person and do it myself, because I don't trust anything that Adrian Fontes does here in Maricopa County.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Get out there. This is for all voters there in Maricopa County. Don't trust this mail-in ballot system that the Democrats are pushing. Show up at the polls and vote in person, and vote down the Republican ticket from President Trump to Josh Barnett. I want to see Republicans. By the way, again, you can see Josh's website again at the bottom of the screen, barnettforarizona.com. And you can reach him on Twitter at barnettforarizona. And before you go over and knock on Galejo's door, I just want to add one more thing. We have 700,000 to 900,000 legal immigrants that come across and come into the United States legally every single year. And we welcome legal immigration.
Yes.
Not illegal, which is what the Democrats want. They want open borders, illegal immigration, sanctuary cities. They want to let criminals out. No more prisons, no more police. Wild West, defend yourself. Okay? Josh, are you going to go over and knock? How far are you from Galejo?
I'm probably less than 5 minutes from where his office is.
I'm going to take you off the screen, and I'm going to finish a little bit here, and then I'm going to bring you back when you get there.
Okay.
Keep it live.
I'll keep it on. Will do.
Folks, you can see that Josh is in a battle down in Arizona, okay? So I need you, whether you live in Arizona, whether you don't, I want you to go. This is just like with every Republican, conservative congressional candidate that's running from now to election day that we have on this show. We need to push for them. We need to go to their website. If you can give money, give money. If you can help make phone calls, make phone calls. You can do that from any place in America. You don't have to live in Arizona to do that. Get involved with the campaign. Help get the word out. If you do live in Phoenix, Glendale, Maricopa County, then do more. Step out. Help get involved with this ground game. Do not take any chances this election cycle. If you want the Democrats to destroy this country, and that is what they're going to do, you see what's happening. If you turn on your television, you see what they're doing. You see in cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, up in Wisconsin, New York City, they have a no bail policy. So you can commit crimes, you're out of jail in 6 hours. You can throw urine on police. You can throw bricks at police. Where is the accountability? This is madness. Do you really want to live like that, America? Is that really how you want to live? Is that what you want for your children, for your grandchildren? Do you really want criminals let out of prisons all over the country so that they can come into your neighborhood and destroy your family, break into your homes, take everything you've got, hold you at gunpoint? Is that what you want? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you turn on your television, if you follow social media, even I forget television actually, because if you're watching fake news, you're getting lies anyway. So you're going to get most of your information off of social media. And if you're following that, you know what's happening in these streets. You know that the narrative that the Democrats are pushing is a lie. You know that everything that they're doing is to try to destroy President Trump. And I'm going to say this, okay? Look at it like this. I'm going to put it to you and think back. Use your brain. And it doesn't matter because in 2024, they'll do the exact same thing. So think about this, okay? Think about this. And I'm going to bring Josh back on here. He's getting out now. In 2024, they're going to say whoever the Republican candidate is, they're going to say that he's a racist, just like they did in 2016, just like they did in 2012, just like they did in 2008. Every time there's an election, do you ever notice? I mean, you have to, unless you're blind. Do you ever notice that the Democrats play the race card every single election? You mean to tell me that every single Republican, every single conservative is a racist? If you believe that, you're an idiot. We're back with you, Josh.
All right, guys, I'm walking up. They actually have these doors are locked. I don't believe the office is open. They have an insurance company next to him at Chase Bank, and they have the door that leads up into his up where he would be. They have them locked right now. It looks like their office hours they might have COVID hours now or something. I don't know. So unfortunately, but you know what? I'm gonna keep coming over here until he agrees to debate me. I'm gonna keep bothering him until he says yes.
Yes.
I guess I'll just have a little fun with it, you know.
Yes.
In the meanwhile.
And I keep the pressure on him. Brother,
yes, I will.
I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I want you to keep us informed. Let us know how your campaign's going. Let us know how your ground game is going. If you're getting support on your website, if people are volunteering, keep us informed, will you?
Will do. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
We'll have you back before the election for sure. So
Thank you.
stay
Thank you,
in
John.
contact, brother.
Will do. Thank you very much.
God bless you, Josh.
God bless you. Have a good one.
And I want to thank our audience again. This is our second show of the day. But leading up to the election, we've got a lot going on. We've got candidates from all over the country that are fighting to win their races. And Josh is just another one, just like Chris Bish was earlier. But thank you for joining us on Indivisible with John Stubbins. We will see you Wednesday, where we have 2 more shows on Wednesday. And I think you're going to love them. We've got Kathy Bernstein coming on. She's running against Jerry Nadler of New York. He's a big disappointment and a failure and a corrupt politician, if there ever was one. Can you believe that Jerry Nadler says that the violence that's happening in Democrat cities is a myth? Well, Kathy Bernstein will be on to talk about her opponent, Jerry Nadler, on Wednesday. We also have Rhonda Furin, who's running for governor out in California on the other coast against Gavin Newsom. So make sure you join us Wednesday, where we'll have 2 more shows. Thank you for joining us, America. Have a wonderful evening. Make sure you kiss your wife, your kids, and love on them. We got a lot of battles out there, and we got to fight. If you love this country, you better stand up and fight. God bless you. Thanks for joining us.